So let's get started now. Thank you for joining me. Today's topic is going to be foods to boost your immune system. I'm Danielle Herndon. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a certified case manager, and I work with PSA Insurance and Financial. We're the brokers for your health insurance. Today's topic, I think is pretty important, given that since we have COVID and now the flu is going to be emerging. There's a lots of things you can do with foods, and today we're going to talk about the immune system. So what is the immune system? The immune system is a network of organs, cells, and proteins that protect your body from viruses, bacteria, or any foreign substances. So this system of these organs and cells, when an abnormal bacteria or virus attacks, they go into action. Your immune system works to neutralize that bacteria, remove the bacteria, remove the viruses, remove the parasites or fungus from entering the body. Parts of the immune system are your tonsils, if you still have those. If you don't, a lot of people have them removed when they're children because that they become inflamed and infected. You don't need to have those, but tonsils are part of the immune system. The lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are all over your body. You most likely feel them in your throat when you get an infection, a strep throat or something like that, under your arms or in your groin area. That's where most of them are, but they're all over your body. The next is the spleen. The spleen is a very important part of the immune system. Most of us still have our spleens. When we end up having to have our spleen removed, it's actually a very big surgery. It's a very big part of your immune system. Part of the lymph nodes is the lymphatic vessels. That's what moves that lymphatic fluid. That lymphatic fluid is full of nutrients or full of the ability to fight the bacteria or the viruses. The next is your bone marrow. You find most of that in your long bones of your leg, but in all bones, there's bone marrow. The next is the appendix. The next is the thymus. And the lymphatic vessels also in your neck. The most lymphatic vessels are in your neck and in your groin area. The cells of the immune system originate in the bone marrow, and then they circulate throughout the blood in that specialized vessels, or when you saw the picture before, or that lymphatic system. When our immune system is working properly, we don't even know that it's working. And it works all the time, all day long, 24/7. It's always working. It's always circulating to see if you have bacteria or if you have fungus or if you have COVID or if you have flu or any of that entering. It's looking for that to attack that. It's when when our immune system is compromised that we face illness. When it becomes under assault and becomes compromised. Underactivity of the immune system can result in severe infections, while overactivity results in allergic and autoimmune diseases. So the immune system is a very tricky thing to have in balance. Again, if it becomes out of whack and it becomes underactive, that's when you have infections, when it can't gobble up that bacteria or that fungus or that flu or that COVID, or when it is overreactive, that's when you have that allergic reactions or autoimmune diseases. For our body's natural defenses to run smoothly, that immune system must differentiate between self and non-self cells. That means cells that are part of your body and cells that are not part of your body, or organisms or substances. So it needs to be able to tell the difference between what's part of you and what's not part of you. Non-self substances are called antigens. They include the proteins on the surface of bacteria, fungi or fungus, viruses. All of those are the non-self substances that the immune system looks for. When the cells of the immune system detect a presence of those non-self substances, the immune system recalls stored memories in order to defend itself against the pathogens. So that may mean you got a flu shot and you developed a bunch of antibodies so that if you got exposed to the flu, your immune system would be able to fight it. Your immune system has a lot of that. I guess I call it the brain of the immune system, that it recalls that to fight those antigens or those pathogens. The most amazing thing about the immune system is that it's constantly adapting and learning so that the body can fight against bacteria and viruses over time. It's always revamping. It's always getting used to, different things, different antigens or bacteria or pathogens that it gets exposed to. Once it gets exposed to those and it fights those, then it remembers how it attacked those and killed those, so that the next time it's exposed to those, then it's able to again attack those. Feeding your body certain foods may help to keep your immune system strong. Just like when we feed our body things that we need to, to gain weight, if that's what you're looking for, the proteins to protect your body, to lose weight, it's all about the food. And food is very important with the immune system. If you're looking for ways to prevent winter colds, the flu, COVID, your first step should be look in your pantry and visit your local grocery store. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's talk about 16 foods that can boost your immune system. Elderberry. It's an old folk remedy, and a lot of people may be taking elderberry supplements. It's a fruit that's loaded with tons of nutrients called antioxidants, and it may help fight inflammation. In some lab studies, the extract from these berries appears to block flu viruses. So I'm a nurse and I'm not prescribing. I think that if you are able to find elderberries in your grocery store, go ahead and get those. You can also take elderberry supplements, but before you do that, please check with your physician to make sure that's something that's not going to cause adverse reactions. But again, elderberry is a very common supplement that's really important, that especially with the COVID and the flu going around, that can help block those viruses. Button mushrooms. Button mushrooms give you that mineral selenium and the B vitamins, riboflavin and niacin. They help in several different ways. If you're low on selenium, you're more likely to get a severe case of the flu. Riboflavin and niacin play a role in a healthy immune system. If you're going to eat these mushrooms, maybe try a spinach salad with cleaned up raw mushrooms sliced on it. The more you cook those and the more that you marinate those, the more likely you are to get rid of those riboflavin, the selenium, and the niacin. So try to eat them raw. Maybe make a dill dip and dip them in the dill dip and eat them raw like that. But the more that you can eat raw mushrooms, the better off you're going to be. Acai berries.
Question, I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
Can I ask a question about the mushroom?
Yes.
Does it also include shiitake mushrooms, or is just button mushrooms?
Button mushrooms have the most. Other mushrooms have some, but the button mushrooms have the most.
Thank you.
You were just trying to get her to say shiitake, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, all mushrooms, if you're going to eat mushrooms, you eat them all like that. The more you can do, the more likely you are to have, to get the benefits of those vitamins. The next is acai berry. It's a very dark color berry. It almost looks like a blueberry, but it's loaded with plenty of nutrients called antioxidants. Antioxidants are the foods that are a key part of a healthy lifestyle. And you can get these berries in a fruit juice, in smoothies, dried, or with granola. If you visit your health food store, you can find a lot of different granolas that have acai berries. But the raw berries, if you can find them, or the juices with the berries, they're loaded with antioxidants. If you feel like you're coming down with something and you drink a fruit juice with acai berry in it, you may find that you start feeling better a lot quicker. Oysters. Now, who would have thought that oysters are part of the immune system? They're loaded with zinc, and zinc appears to have some virus-fighting powers. Zinc is one of the things that they're using with COVID right now. To number one, they give people that get COVID zinc when they first get it, that it hopes to decrease the amount of time that they have COVID. They're also finding that zinc also minimizes the length of time that you have COVID and decreases the severity. Oysters are loaded with zinc. It's probably because zinc helps to create active white blood cells. White blood cells are really important. They go around your body and they gobble up all those foreign pathogens and antigens in your body. To assist, it also helps your immune system with tasks such as healing wounds. Again, you know, if the mushrooms, I mean, again, with the oysters, I don't promote eating them raw. You can blanch those, you can steam those, you can eat those like that. Zinc also, you know, again, I'm going to say again that I am not a physician and I cannot prescribe, but if you're wondering about zinc and about this time of year with flu and colds and COVID, maybe speak to your physician about a zinc supplement if you don't think you're getting enough zinc in your system. I tell people, you know, if you're not sure if you have enough zinc, when you get your routine blood work drawn, get a blood work drawn with all these different minerals too, to see if they're low and see what you're low on and then supplement on that. Your primary care physician can give you an order for that to get that taken at the lab. And it's a very common lab to do it. Unfortunately, it's not often prescribed. Watermelon's another really big one. It's not only refreshing, it's one of my favorite fruits. When it's ripe, when it's red ripe like that, it's also got plenty of antioxidants called glycopin. It strengthens the immune system so it can fight infection. To get the most in your watermelon, you need to eat the red pulpy flesh near the rind. That stuff way down the rind. Sometimes we cut it and it's not all the way down to the white. The stuff the closest to the rind is going to give you the most glutathione, and it'll help you with that. So watermelon's another really big one. Wheat germ, you can buy wheat germ in the cereal aisle. You can add wheat germ to your food. You can add it to yogurt. You can add it to your cereals. It's the part of the wheat seed that feeds the baby wheat plant, and it's rich in nutrients because it wants to grow that plant. It's a great way to get zinc. It's a great way to get those antioxidants, and it's a great way to get those B vitamins. Wheat germ delivers a good mix of fiber, protein, and some healthy fat. You can substitute wheat germ in place of some regular flour. So maybe if it calls for a cup of flour, maybe you do 3/4 of a cup of flour and the other quarter with wheat germ. It makes great meatloaf. If you're making meatloaf, you can use that in the meatloaf, but it's actually something that does not taste a whole lot like anything. But it actually does really well, you know, with fighting those, and giving you that zinc and the antioxidants and the B vitamins. Again, you can find it in a jar up on the shelf in the cereal aisle of almost every grocery store. Low-fat yogurt. You know, I said earlier that you could put that wheat germ on that yogurt. Here's a good example of that. The probiotics that's found in yogurt and other fermented products may ease the severity of colds. Look for the labels that say live or active cultures. Also look for the added vitamin D. Studies show that people with low vitamin D levels may be more likely to get colds and flu. Again, people that get COVID, they're giving them vitamin D right away to help fight the COVID, also with flu. So when you get those levels drawn, make sure it includes vitamin D. If you think you're low on that because you're a person that uses a lot of sunscreen, that when they go out in the sun, and particularly in the wintertime when you don't have so much sun, that's where we get our vitamin D. Maybe it's a good idea to take a vitamin D supplement. Again, speak to your physician about that, but you can get that vitamin D from that yogurt with that wheat germ on it. Spinach, you know, earlier I said about those button mushrooms. Get some spinach, put some button mushrooms on them, put a little bit of vinegar and oil on it, put a hard-boiled egg, you have a nice salad. But spinach is full of superfoods. It's one of those, along with broccoli, that's a superfood. One of them is folate, which helps make your body grow new cells and repair DNA. It also has a lot of fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins such as vitamin C and more. Eat spinach raw or lightly cooked to get the most benefit. So again, like I said, make a spinach salad with that button mushrooms and an egg and some vinaigrette. You'll have a really nice salad and you'll get tons of virus fighting and antioxidants in these too. Tea, you know, feel free to choose white, green, or black tea. Tea is really, really important with the immune system. It's actually better than coffee. Each of these deliver disease-fighting polyphenols and flavonoids. These are both antioxidants, and they seek out cell-damaging free radicals. The cell-damaging free radicals are a lot of those viruses and a lot of the bacteria that's in your body, and it'll destroy them. Caffeinated and decaf work well. So if you're a person that can't do the decaf, can't do the caffeinated, do the decaf. And again, white, black, or green, all of those work fine with that. Sweet potato, like carrots, sweet potato have tons of beta carotene in your body that turns, that beta carotene turns into vitamin A, which helps mop up all those free radicals, all that stuff that's going to cause disease to you. It also helps bolster the immune system, and it may even improve the aging process. So that, I like sweet potatoes just baked with some butter on them. The more that you don't put a bunch of sugar on them, like brown sugar, the more that you eat them just baked, or that's better off for you. Better off you forget the vitamin A and the beta carotene. As I said earlier, another super, in addition to spinach, is broccoli. It's almost always found in the grocery store all year round, which makes it nice, along with spinach. And it's an immune boosting basic. You'll get plenty of nutrients out of spinach and broccoli. If you ever wonder, how can I get the best nutrients, spinach and broccoli? It is loaded with vitamins A, C, and antioxidants. Again, steam it, maybe put a little bit of butter, salt, and pepper, however you like to make it. It's actually a really good, I like to make, like I said, I like to make a dill dip, and I like to put broccoli in it, and I like to put those button mushrooms and carrots and just dip them in, and that's my lunch. And again, it's full of all those things that we've been talking about. Garlic, this is a kitchen staple. A lot of people just think of garlic to season food, but raw garlic can help beat skin infections. And it can also fight bacteria, virus, and fungus. To get the benefits, you have to use the real stuff, not the garlic powder. Garlic supplement may even help lower your cholesterol. You can take supplements of garlic. Again, like I said, speak to your physician about this, but people that have taken that have noticed that they've lowered their cholesterol. But a raw garlic and added to meals can definitely helps you fight those infections, those bacteria, etc. Miso, a lot of the Japanese seasonings are made of fermented soybeans, and it's called miso. So if you eat sushi and things like that, you probably have the miso. You probably had it in soup, but you can also add it to sauces. It has a lot of probiotics. It's actually pretty flavorful. I put it sometimes in chicken soup to give it a little bit more seasoning. You can get it from the health food store. It's a pasty kind of thing. It gives your immune system a lift and can help fight infections like diarrhea as well as other types. Chicken soup, everybody knows about grandma's chicken soup. When you don't feel good, the first thing you make is a pot of chicken soup. Chicken soup can really help ease the symptoms of flu, of colds, of not feeling well, and help you get well sooner. You don't have to make it from scratch. Researchers have found that store-bought soup works just as well. So a pot of chicken soup or a can of chicken noodle soup when you're not feeling well is definitely going to help. Pomegranate juice. The ancient Egyptians were the first ones that started eating pomegranate. They used this colorful fruits to treat infections. That's what they did with pomegranate. Lots of modern research have found that pomegranate extract and the juice shows promise, and it might help you fight bacteria and several kinds of viruses, including the flu. There's I think it's Ocean Spray that makes a juice that is pomegranate juice with that acai berry extract in it. I think that's what it is. It's a great one to drink if you want those added antioxidants and the ability if you're not feeling well. Ginger is another really big one. If you love ginger and the spice it gives you kicks to Asian food, maybe get some ginger and nibble on it after dinner. When you drink it in tea or ginger, it can help ease nausea and vomiting. Ginger is also a very good source of antioxidants. Add ginger to stir fries or steep it in hot water to make a tea. I a lot of times just stick it in with my tea bag on my green tea with the ginger. It makes it a little bit more spicy, but it adds to that antioxidants. Those antioxidants work best in your body when you get them straight from the fruits or the vegetables. So you can get what looks like that brown thing. You can easily peel it. You can cut a couple of slices and you can put it steeping in your tea. It makes it spicier. I think it tastes better. And it'll actually give you those antioxidants. Spicy hot foods fight colds, like the hotter the better. Chili peppers, hot mustard, radishes, peppers, onions, garlic, all contain substances called mycolytics that's similar to the cough suppressant or expectorant of cough syrups. When you're trying to take a Mucinex, a lot of people know about Mucinex that thin the mucus. The same spicy foods, the chili peppers, the hot mustard, will also do the same thing without having to take that expectorant. It liquefies that mucus that accumulates in your sinuses and your breathing passages, your lungs too. So the more that you can eat those spicy foods, the better off that you're going to be. Bonus tip, if you always try to eat fresh when you can eat fresh, but when you can't eat fresh, eat frozen. Depending on where you live and what time of year it is, you can't always get your hands on those high quality fresh produce. But frozen is fine. It's much better than canned. By the time they can it, a lot of the nutrients have come out of it. Frozen is actually quick cooked or boiled and immediately frozen. They freeze these vegetables at the peak ripeness, which means they'll pack a similar nutritional value as their fresh counterparts. Just choose plain frozen foods rather than those added with sugar or cheeses or sodium, just the plain frozen foods. Just remember, always remember you are what you eat. When you eat the junk, you feel like junk. When you eat healthy, you'll feel more healthy. The more that you can include those in your diet every day, the better off you're going to be. I say, if you're going to eat junk, pair it with something that's healthy. Pair it with, a piece of fruit, or pair it with something that's going to make you feel at least better. I don't know, a lot of you, if I eat like tasty cakes in the middle of the afternoon, 2 hours later, I have a headache and I feel awful that's what my lunch was. So I try to eat those more healthy snacks. I'm going to open it up to questions now. If there are any questions, unmute yourself and ask your question. That would be great. Are there any questions?
Yes, I'm sorry, Danielle, quick question. With this whole COVID quarantine and everything, I'm finding that, and I haven't been able to get to an allergist yet, but in trying the turmeric and, the garlic and and ginger, I'm thinking I'm having a reaction to the turmeric, if I'm saying that right. So
that's definitely possible. Just remember, turmeric is a plant. Turmeric is a beautiful plant that has a beautiful bloom, and you're eating the roots of that. You're having a reaction to that.
No, I was getting just the powder. I didn't get fresh. It was just the turmeric powder.
It's still ground up.
Okay.
You definitely might. Try not taking it and see if you feel better.
Yeah, I kick back, and I think that's what it is, because at first I thought it was like the broccoli, because I was like doing it with and the tea. I had turmeric tea, so on top of maybe putting it on my my salads or things like that, I was doing the teas, and I did start experimenting. I said, when did I start feeling like this? And then it was impacting a little bit of my breathing, and I said, okay, let me cut back. And at first I thought it was broccoli because it's known to cause gas or something like that, right. But it wasn't. I just stopped using everything, and then I gradually again started the tea again, and then that's when I noticed. So I was like, okay, I think it's the turmeric that's doing it, because
I would use the turmeric. Maybe replace it with something like the ginger or the ginger.
Yeah. Okay.
Or, something like that. But it probably is. You're not the first person I've heard that had actions and things like that. Any other questions?
I'm not sure whether you've noticed, but there are actually questions in the chat room.
Let me see if I can find the chat here. Hold on just a second.
If you hover the mouse around the bottom of the screen,
yeah, you see your
a
controls.
toolbar will pop up.
Oh, wait a second.
And smack in the middle will be chat.
Yeah, it should be next to your share screen button.
Hold on just a second. Find it.
So this is Cecilia. I'll facilitate. It seems like your facilitator is not here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so is it better to boil broccoli or to eat it raw? Well, you answered that one. What about steaming the broccoli? Just kind of steaming it rather than boiling it.
Steaming it's actually great with a little bit of seasoning on it of some sort. You know, steaming it is probably the best way to do it. You know, get some kind. I actually like ginger on my broccoli like that. It just gives it a little bit of spice.
Okay.
But steaming vegetables is the best way to do them if you're not eating them raw.
Okay. And someone's saying, Janet is saying, thanks so much for this information. Can your presentation be shared?
Absolutely. I'll send it to the facilitator and she can share it with you of all the people, but I have no problem doing that.
And someone's asking, what foods increase platelet counts?
You know, I don't know that offhand about platelet counts. It's something that I would have to research. If you want to do me a favor, whoever asked that question, and email me at dherndon, HERNDON, at P as in Paul, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, .com. I'll be more than glad to research that for you.
Now, I've heard that lemons and ginger in tea can help fight a sore throat and cold. Is it true?
Absolutely, it can.
Absolutely. I wanted to answer that myself. Yes.
Think about that. The ginger is going to give you those antioxidants, and the lemon's going to give you vitamin C.
Okay. And so, aside from broccoli and spinach, are there other superfoods?
Say that again.
It says, outside of broccoli and spinach, are there other superfoods?
There's acai berries, blueberries, anything that's fresh and anything that's in season. The fresher it is, the better that it is. The more fresh vegetables and the more fresh fruits you can eat, the better off you're going to be in your diet. When you look at your plate, only a small portion should be the protein or the meat or the chicken or whatever. The rest should be fruits and vegetables, and either steamed or raw.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it seems that I stepped in front of Miss Greta, who's your facilitator. Miss Greta, did you want to take over?
No, I'm the facilitator.
Okay. So I'll mute myself again.
Any other questions?
I think there's more questions in
There are more questions.
Yeah, I'm just having a hard time finding those.
It's so here someone says, why don't you promote eating raw oysters?
I don't promote those because of the potential that they can have bacteria in those. It's not advised that you eat them raw. I know a lot of people do, but I'm just not going to promote that because of the bacteria potentially that you can get from raw oysters.
Okay. And the next question is, what about roasted vegetables?
Any kind, like I said, anything that's not fried, roasted is fine too. The more that you can eat them a little bit crunchy, not cooked so that they're so mushy, the better off you're going to be. So make them a little bit al dente or they're a little bit crunchy. That's the better off you're going to be. Any other questions? Well, I'll send that presentation over to my facilitator so she can get it out to all of you. I gave my email address again to the gentleman that had the question or the lady that had the question. But if you have questions, you can certainly shoot them to me. It's D as in Danielle Herndon, HERNDON at P as in Paul, S as in Sam, A as in Apple, financial.com. And I'll be glad to get back to you. Thank you for joining me today. And like I said, if I can do anything to help you, please let me know. Have a good day, everybody.